to help coffee farmers and societies in the payments of the debts, Honorable Speaker, that have been accumulated over time. Honorable Speaker, we have allocated monies into sugar reforms to support our sugar farmers, and especially when it comes to arrears that are owed to farmers, Honorable Speaker, out of supplying in public sugar factories. And in that regard also, we have input money to enhance technology so that farmers can be incorporated into supplying sugarcane based on sucrose level, Honorable Speaker.
The order paper and go first to order number 10 to dispose of the issue of the President's reservations to the finance bill, which will be dealt in the committee of the whole. After that, then we'll come back to the committee of supply at order number 9. Order number 10 should not cost us more than an hour from the materials available to me. So, Honorable NDINDI, you may now reply to the contributions to the motion at order number 8.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I reply, I first of all want to thank all the members of this House. We have been in a very tumultuous moment for the last 4 or so weeks. And Honorable Speaker, I want to thank all the members for giving so much time into this process. The departmental committees have been burning midnight oil in regards to the revision of the budget, and I am glad that, Honorable Speaker, we have a document that represents what Kenya wants to achieve, even within a very limited fiscal space. The very essence of this process of revising our budget, Honorable Speaker, as we know, was necessitated by the fact that we had already passed our appropriations bill, already signed, with the hope that we were going to fund the budget. Unfortunately, it was not possible, given what we all now understand, that Kenyans told us to look inwards and see what we can do within the limits of revenue-raising measures that were already in place in 2023. And in that regard, Honorable Speaker, we did 2 things. We had to increase our debt slightly bit by around 167 billion shillings, but also on the expenditure side, we have had to cut our expenditure by around 111 billion shillings net. Honorable Speaker, one thing that I want to cite is the kind of selflessness we have seen in this House. Honorable Speaker, since I came to this House, it is only in this budget cycle that I have seen members of Parliament like Waboka seated here, like Honorable Junet, actually supporting the cut of NGCDF. This shows that Kenyans, through their representatives here in Parliament, that we agreed we are in different movements. And Honorable Speaker, therefore, all of us had to have a haircut when it comes to expenditure. Honorable Speaker, also, the monies that we propose for cuts, and I wish that members actually take a keen ear onto this, that we were able to rationalize the budget both horizontally and vertically across all levels of government, because the national government is losing money, but also counties through equitable share are also losing Kenya shillings 20 billion through this process, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, even in national government, we cut, or everyone was made to rationalize their expenditure appetite across all the arms of government. The executive lost money, the judiciary has lost money, and also, seated here in this Parliament, Parliament is losing Kenya shillings 3.7 billion, and I want to thank all the members of Parliament for supporting these austerity measures that even Parliament is volunteering cuts, Honorable Speaker, is volunteering foreign travel, is volunteering domestic travel for the sake of our economy, Honorable Speaker. But Honorable Speaker, even as we cut, there are some areas that I want to highlight that we could not permit cuts. Because Honorable Speaker, even when we have austerity measures, there are some things that we deemed too important for our economy now, and they couldn't wait. Honorable Speaker, from the onset, education, as it is in our report, is getting the lion's share of our budget, over Kenya shillings 650 billion. And I want to assure this House, Honorable Speaker, that the monies for confirmation of JSS interns, that the committee did not permit any cuts, and therefore we have sustained the 18.7 billion Kenya shillings for confirmation of all the 46,000 JSS interns, Honorable Speaker, into permanent and pensionable terms. Honorable Speaker, the second thing is that we were able to allocate monies, 1.5 billion Kenya shillings, to new KCC to work or to act as a defense for raw milk prices, Honorable Speaker, for our dairy farmers. And Honorable Speaker, we have had a conversation with the new KCC management, and we have already pressed them, Honorable Speaker, that Kenyan farmers going forward, that the minimum amount of money they ought to be paid for supply of raw milk is 50 shillings, Honorable Speaker. And we have provided a buffer of up to 53 shillings, so that even if the cooperatives and societies get 3 shillings, that farmers will get their net of 50 shillings minimum per litre. Honorable Speaker, we were also able to allocate 3 billion Kenya shillings additional into coffee cherry fund, so that we continue to support this very important commodity that spurs our exports, Honorable Speaker, and therefore bridges the deficit of the balance of payment. Honorable Speaker, we also allocated 2 billion Kenya shillings into payments of or as waiver to help coffee farmers and societies in the payments of the debts, Honorable Speaker, that have been accumulated over time. Honorable Speaker, we have allocated monies into sugar reforms to support our sugar farmers, and especially when it comes to arrears that are owed to farmers, Honorable Speaker, out of supplying in public sugar factories. And in that regard also, we have input money to enhance technology so that farmers can be incorporated into supplying sugarcane based on sucrose level, Honorable Speaker, other than just having weight is the only measure of what farmers should be paid. Honorable Speaker, we have put 3.7 billion Kenya shillings into confirmation of interns who are in the health sector, Honorable Speaker, because they deserve a better pay. And I want to congratulate this House for allocating Kenya shillings 3.7 billion that will go into that direction, Honorable Speaker, into helping our in that regard. Honorable Speaker, we are in unprecedented times, but at the same level, Honorable Speaker, there are things again that couldn't wait. And I also want to thank this House because out of the monies we have rationalized across many areas, we have also been able to do 2 very critical things. One, Honorable Speaker, the government of Kenya had a program of purchasing kuras from Poland, where the government of Kenya was to raise 5%, and we were to get financing from Poland for an additional 95%. But Honorable Speaker, out of the bottlenecks we have encountered in accessing that financing, Honorable Speaker, this time we have allocated a net GOK financing of 2 billion shillings, Honorable Speaker, that will go into government of Kenya, outrightly purchasing these coolers without needing any financing, Honorable Speaker, so that we accelerate that process. Honorable Speaker, as members are aware, the Maraga Task Force went around the country to look at the condition at which our security officers serve our country. And Honorable Speaker, our security officers across all organs of government, from defense to national police, Honorable Speaker, to correctional services, they have been doing a fantastic work, Honorable Speaker. And I want to confirm to this House that especially defense will be getting an enhancement of their salary starting this month of July, Honorable Speaker. But also in addition to that, we have allocated Kenya shillings, 3.5 billion shillings into National Police Service, Honorable Speaker, so that our police officers, starting from the time the appropriation bill will be signed, Honorable Speaker, that our police officers will get a pay increment, will get a salary enhancement, Honorable Speaker, through the appropriation that we have done in this cycle. We have added 3.5 billion Kenya shillings that will go into increment of the salaries for our police officers, Honorable Speaker, and especially in line with the Maraga Task Force recommendation, Honorable Speaker. As I come to the conclusion, Honorable Speaker, there is one thing that we have to agree as a House, that Kenya continually, we have had a very big government over the years. Every bill that comes to this House, Honorable Speaker, majority of them end up creating a body of government. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, we therefore end up having a government that is so big, and therefore most of the money of government getting lost, Honorable Speaker, into so many entities. And in that regard, Honorable Speaker, in the first phase, even through this budget cycle, we have denied 47 government entities monies for operations and maintenance, Honorable Speaker, and we have been able to save around 7 billion Kenya shillings in that exercise. So that, Honorable Speaker, we walk the talk of having a lean government that therefore leaves much more money that will go into the service of the Kenyan people. And Honorable Speaker, there is a question I asked yesterday. When you go to Ndhiwa, Honorable Speaker, when we go to Bodo, for example, Honorable Speaker, in Bodo constituency or in Taveta constituency, Honorable Speaker, you'll get there is a Kera engineer. You get there is a Kenha engineer. There is a Kura engineer, Honorable Speaker. We need to ask very critical questions in this House. Do we actually need this kind of duplication? So that going forward, Honorable Speaker, the money we are spending so much in recurrent, we can be able to have that money, Honorable Speaker, going into development. Honorable Bowen Kagogo is here, Honorable Speaker. Water sector has over 20 bodies. We need to ask very critical questions at this House. Do we need these 20 bodies, or we need fewer that are more capitalized through development, Honorable Speaker? Those are questions that we have to provide answers going forward. And Honorable Speaker, when we do that, we'll be making a lean government that then they leaves more money to take to Kenyans for development, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, with those very many remarks, I want again to thank this House, to thank the membership of the departmental committees, to thank our teams who have been working around the clock, and I beg to reply, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable Koyo, take your seat. Take your seat, Honorable Undo. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 8, which is that this House adopts the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee This House adopts the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on its consideration of the supplementary estimates for the financial year 2024-25, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 23rd July 2024, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 223 of the Constitution and Section 39 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 and Standing Order 243, 1, approves a decrease of the current expenditure for financial year 2024-25 by Kenya shillings 38,896,358,312 in respect of the votes contained in the first schedule. 2, approves a decrease of the total capital expenditure for financial year 2024-25 of Kenya shillings 107,445,697,478 in respect of the votes contained in the first schedule. 3, approves an overall decrease in the total budget of financial year 2024-2025 by Kenya shillings 146,342,000,000 55,790 in respect of the votes contained in the first schedule, subject to paragraph 6, Committee of Supply. 4, makes the policy resolutions as contained in the fourth schedule. 5, resolves that the first schedule forms the basis for the introduction of the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2024. And that further to the Appropriations Act 2024, the sum allocated to meet the expenditure recurrent and development for the year 30th June 2025 in respect of vote 1023, State Department for Correctional Services, be reduced by a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings Number 6, a mix-up of papers. Orders that the Speaker do now leave the chair to facilitate the consideration of the said budget estimates with respect to each vote and program in the Committee of Supply as contemplated under Standing Order 240, consideration of supplementary estimates in the Committee of Supply. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, will now go to order number 10. And before we go to the committee on order number 10, I have the following communication. As a guide on consideration of the President's reservations to the Finance Bill 2024. Honorable members, you recall that on Tuesday, 23rd July 2024, I conveyed a message from His Excellency the President referring the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2024, back to the House for reconsideration in exercise of the powers conferred under Article 115(1)(b) of the Constitution. I did refer the reservation to the Departmental Committee of Finance and National Planning for consideration. The committee has since laid its report on the memorandum. Honorable members, for the information of the House, I wish to note that the committee has recommended that the House agrees with the President's reservations that all the clauses of the bill be deleted. In this regard, I wish to draw the attention of the House to the Speaker's communication on 28th July 2015 on the consideration and scope of President's reservations. As by the cited communication, any member who wishes to move the House to reinstate any clause of the Finance Bill 2024 shall be required to marshal the support of at least 233 members. This is in keeping with the provisions of Article 115(4) of the Constitution, which requires that such a proposal be supported by at least 2/3 of the members of the National Assembly. Not 2/3 of members present and voting, but 2/3 of the whole House as constituted. Conversely, honorable members, agreement with the President's reservations and the recommendation to delete all the clauses of the Finance Bill 2024 shall only require the support of a simple majority of the members present and voting. This is in line with the provisions of Article 115(2)(a) of the Constitution as read with Article 1221 of the Constitution. As a summary of this guidance is contained on page 1987 of the order paper. The House is accordingly guided. I thank you. So, honorable members, as you go into the committee, the chair of the committee will be calling out each clause. Any member who has a contrary view, you must demonstrate that you have 233 members present in this House to vote for you in support of what you want to reverse. If you don't marshal that, then don't even bother to contest the reservations. I now request you to be upstanding.